everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Partnered Up Podcast. I'm Sergio.
And I'm Kimberly.
And I have to apologize, everybody. It's going to be one of those episodes. Because my wife has never seen The Godfather. Has never seen Back to the Future.
Oh, so you're just going to expose me.
She is the person that says, oh my God, I get that. And I'm like, really? You've seen The Godfather? She's like, no, that's from Zootopia.
Yeah. I love Zootopia. I love that movie. I can watch the movie on repeat.
No. I was a child that grew up without cable and a lot of DVDs. So I can quote movies, particularly Shrek. I had that one on DVD.
And you can quote that one in English and in Spanish.
Because fight me on this. Anybody out there's watching. Shrek is funnier in Spanish by a long shot.
I've seen it in Spanish, but since I'm still learning, it takes a little bit longer for me to get them sometimes.
Yeah. So what would you say was your first movie that you remember watching?
I have a horrible memory, and it's gotten worse since becoming a mom. So I think it was just like some Disney movies. I wonder if I would ask my parents, like, what was the first movie y'all showed me? Because I feel like the first movie we're going to show our baby, I'm going to like remember it. I'm going to like make a whole, like, I'm going to take pictures and be like, remember this moment.
It was Captain America.
Oh, well, that was like at the movie theater. And that's a whole other thing at Baby Days. We didn't just take her to the theater just because.
No, we were that people. There was crying. Everybody was going, shh, looking at us, giving us judging eyes.
The Alamo Draft House. And fun fact for parents who might not know.
# not sponsored.
Not sponsored,
but we totally would.
But we will take sponsorships. Alamo Draft House has Baby Days every Tuesday, at least in the Texas market, because I know in San Antonio and Austin they do it for sure, because I've gone to the one here. My friend Roberta.
Shout out to Roberta, Kimberly's friend from, well, maybe we shouldn't dox her like that, but yeah, Kimberly's friend.
Yes.
Shout out.
She's gone to a couple of showings in San Antonio. So you can just take your baby and crying's okay. And the lights are a little bit brighter. The noise is a little bit softer, but it still feels like a movie.
I don't think the noise was any softer, and I don't think I think that was fake news. It's just like dedicated time slot, but
yeah, it's supposed to be that way, but I don't know.
It felt just as dark and it felt just as loud as any other movie, to be honest.
I don't know, but that was a side note. But yes, we took her to that.
But it was great because, like, if she were like, a lot of the fear of taking a baby to the movie theater is like, what if they cry?
Yeah,
they designated that as it's okay to cry zone.
And what I like too is that there's a thing at the beginning that says, like, if you didn't realize this was a Baby Day showing, like, we will refund your ticket for another showing of the same movie.
Yeah, that's right.
And I thought that was really nice. That's really nice of them, because sometimes people will just, if they don't know, this is the only time I have to go see a movie. Then they go and they're like, oh my God, like, I'm in this showing, like, that's annoying.
It would have been great to have that during the ending or during Endgame Part 2. Is it Endgame Part 2 or is Endgame the Part 2? Just Endgame.
Endgame is the Part 2.
The Avengers Part 2 Endgame.
Yeah.
That would have been great, because then it would have been okay for me to cry at the end.
I still cried. What are you talking about? Anyways, so my first movie, I just remember watching a bunch of Disney, or not even like just Disney, but animated movies. I think one of the very first movies I remember that like stuck in my mind was like, had to have been like Lion King or like Iron Giant.
What about the Lion King stuck in your mind?
I mean, it was sad. But it was weird because I did not like watching sad movies as a kid. Like, if I watched something that was sad, I would not watch it again for a long time. Or something. It was more like that scared me. Like The Wizard of Oz scared me when I was a kid.
You saw The Wizard of Oz as a kid? I didn't see The Wizard of Oz until I was older.
I only saw it once as a child.
I think I saw it as in school.
No, I saw it as a kid, and I never watched it again because it freaked me out.
I still don't know the full story of The Wizard of Oz. I just know plot points.
Don't look it up, because I'm probably going to make you go watch Wicked Part 2 later on this year. So.
Oh, boy.
You
can't wait to see that one again.
Yeah.
Yay.
But yeah, I think I'll say that, or what am I even saying? Scratch my two answers. A princess movie. I was and still am pretty obsessed with Disney princess movies. So yeah. I would say one of my first ones was probably like Aladdin or Pocahontas.
Really?
Those two. I mean, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite because Belle is a reader and like I was a big reader. But when I was like a little kid, I would say like Pocahontas. I remember watching Pocahontas at my grandparents' house because they had it on VHS. Same thing with Mulan. And then of course like Little Mermaid, classic. Little Mermaid. Maybe Little Mermaid. I don't know. What about you? I could just list all the princess movies, but
so I vividly remember my parents had this huge projection screen TV in the living room when I was a kid. It was back in Mexico when I still
instead of a TV, you had a projector?
No. It was a TV, Kimberly.
Oh, okay.
But the way it works is the big box and it has a projector inside.
Oh, like those big TVs that like
yes,
those big
it's
box.
a huge TV.
Those big box TVs.
It was the size of my mom.
Wow.
Like that.
One of my uncles had one of those.
It was like if you were to grab a fridge and stretch it, like that big.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah. And with that, we had the VCR. We had movies hooked up to it, obviously. And I remember my parents took me on like a scavenger hunt. I don't know if it was like my birthday or it was just like, you're a kid. So I was the firstborn, only child at that point. And they just got me a gift and they had me run around the house. And eventually I found the VHS for Aladdin. So I remember that. But I remember specifically watching over and over The Lion King and A Bug's Life. Specifically.
You love A Bug's Life.
I love A Bug's Life so much.
I was telling Elizabeth that's like one of your favorite movies. And she was like, why? I'm like, because he thinks he's Flint.
It's Flick.
Flick, no? Sorry. I probably don't remember it right.
I don't even know. I just remember them saying in a Spanish accent, Flick. I've never seen it in English. I don't think I've ever seen that movie in English.
Wow.
All I remember is the metaphor of Flick trying to explain to Dot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flick trying to explain to Dot about, look at this rock. It's a seed, and all it needs is a little bit of water to grow into a tree. And she goes, but that's a rock. And I'm like, I know it's a rock. Don't you think I know that this is a rock? That's me, like, every day.
Yeah, explaining things to people. But yeah, why are we talking about kids' movies?
Well, now we have a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to make sure they had as great foundation in their cinema life as we had, which is crazy because I was just telling you the other day, it's like, High School Musical is going to be Aurelia's Grease.
And that just like blew my mind because I loved Grease because my mom loved it when she was younger and we would watch it all the time.
Imagine growing up with two Grease movies. Not Grease 1, Grease 2, like two variations of Grease that you get to enjoy.
We're going to show her Grease and then we're also going to show her maybe Grease, which is
we can't
older.
show her the Olivia Rodrigo High School Musical.
No.
Original Zac Efron and what's her face?
Vanessa Hudgens.
Thank you.
I was obsessed with High School Musical. It was so good. I mean, I still watch that right now. Like I'm something about me is that I actually love kids movies even now as an adult. Like as you know, like I can just put on Zootopia, put on the background, and it's been great because like since I got pregnant, I would just put on kids movies and nobody could tell me anything because I was like, gotta get used to this, guys. I'm sorry. I was used to this.
Apparently that's a thing. I heard your brother telling a story the other day about his friend who's like, hey, bro, you don't just like put on Ratatouille. He's like, no, let's watch something else.
I'm not alone in that. Yeah, I guess. So it is normal. But yeah, people should not feel ashamed for wanting to watch kids movies, I think.
Like a comfort thing.
Yeah. For me, it's comfort. It's like, instead of I don't have a comfort show. I have comfort movies I like to put on in the background. But I also like to sit there and pay attention and like absorb it. You know
what I think is something that might or might not be unique to our generation? I don't know about you, but like I said, I didn't have cable, so we had DVDs. So what we would constantly do is we would have DVDs, would play them, and then fall asleep in like the living room, right? And like, or even just in a room. I had a TV with like built-in DVD player and stuff. So I would put the DVD, would play, and then fall asleep watching movies, which is why now I need YouTube to fall asleep. But anyway, I remember constantly waking up in the middle of the night to the music from the menu.
Yeah.
Right? That's something that doesn't happen anymore, right?
No, and I'll even one up you on that. I remember, and I only remember this from one time. I think it was like after one of my uncle's funerals when I was in high school. I put on Star Wars because I remember like he was the one who showed me the Star Wars movies when I was younger, and so I liked Star Wars before I liked Star Trek. That's a whole other conversation. Wow. But
are they the same thing?
Oh my god, I gotta go, guys. Hold on. And I put on one of the Star Wars movies. I think I put on episode 4, A New Hope.
Okay.
Which you probably wouldn't know because you've never seen all the Star Wars movies.
I haven't seen the
original.
The original.
A New Hope. You've never seen A New Hope.
I haven't seen 3,
you
4,
give me
and
a
5.
hard time. You give me a hard time. 4,
Listen,
5,
the
and
prequels
6.
were gold, okay, and that's all we need.
Okay. He says
I remember Yoda in the swamp. Okay.
He thinks the prequels are better than the original.
The originals are just so slow. They're just so slow paced.
Classic, Sergio. They're like, if you don't at least appreciate those movies and what they did, then I don't think you can call yourself a cinephile.
Look, I've seen the whole
clips?
movie. I've seen the whole movie in like clips.
You know what? That's what we're gonna do. One night, instead of watching a show, I'm gonna make you watch all 3 of those movies. Not all of the Star Wars content in order, because we tried that one time and we totally failed. But
we couldn't get past the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you watch like episode 4, 5, and 6 with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you watch the Godfather. Godfather 1, 2.
I'm okay with that. I'll do that. But anyways, I forgot where we're going on the Star. Okay, so yes, I put on, and my uncle had the VHSs. So instead of that menu that popped up like you were talking about, with the music, it was like the scratch, because like I watched the whole VHS and like the tape, like the end, like
the
fuzzy, the
static.
The static. I'm sorry, not the scratch.
Yes.
That I remember when I woke up, because it was after his funeral, and I put the movie on just to, like, have it on in the background. Took a nap in like one of the back rooms of my grandparents' house, and I remember that. I remember like the static.
Yeah, I remember
because we had a lot of VHSs. My parents would buy VHSs for us to watch because my grandma didn't have cable, and my grandma took care of us a lot. And I would watch movies on repeat. I remember watching like the Looney Tunes movies or Looney Tunes, like the VHSs, and put them in and like have those on too. Like not just like movies, but the shows, or like the shows of Looney Tunes. And that was more of like what I remember. We didn't get DVDs until like we were a lot older, and it was like maybe like high school. But when I was in elementary, middle school, like we would play the VHSs all the time.
Yeah, no, I remember I had my family had this like trunk, and it was just full of DVDs, and it was full all the way, like on the floor, mm-hmm. like up, because it was like the size of this table, like half mm-hmm. of this table, and it was full of DVDs, 3 layers thick or wow. tall, right? So mm-hmm. it was like 3 layers of DVDs, and it was just like massive. And now it's in their storage. But like we had tons of DVDs. What we would do is on like Fridays, we always had movie nights, and we'd go to Walmart. We'd get like munchies, which are just like chips and like sodas and stuff. And then we'd go to the bin,
like the $5. Well, now I think back then they have like $2 movies.
Now they're like, please take them. They're free.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it was those. And sometimes you would get like 3 movies in one. Mm-hmm. So like we would just always get a bunch of those. And sometimes it would be like everybody gets to pick one movie, mm-hmm. and then we'd be set for the month.
Nice.
But yeah, our collection grew. And now, as a result of that, I am really good at guessing movies because it's just the same tropes over and over again.
I think, yeah, that's one thing that when we've like watched movies together, you'd be like, oh, he's the villain. And I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, why are you right? But then now I find myself also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, okay, this is predictable. But when movies catch us by surprise, those are like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's because we're being creative. It's something you haven't seen before. But I mean, usually immediately, if it's on screen, it's for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. So like, you can tell that this is going to be important later. Otherwise, why would they add it?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I've become very well attuned to just being able to guess the prompts. But a lot of that's because there's only like 6 different stories you can tell.
And aren't a lot of them like Shakespeare origin?
Well, yeah, I mean, like it's like man versus self, man versus man, man versus wild, man versus machine, and man versus
Love.
man versus woman.
Isn't that a show?
There's another one. Could it be like man versus God? Is that a thing?
Possibly.
It's like the Odysseus type of thing.
Yeah.
You know? The
I'm
thing.
so excited for that movie. That's gonna come out next year. Have you seen that meme of Christopher Nolan?
And it's got a bunch of like A-list actors,
just like the way Oppenheimer,
Odyssey.
just like the way Oppenheimer did.
Wow.
I'm so excited because I liked Oppenheimer a lot, and I think like Christopher Nolan does a really good job. Right? That's the director's name.
Yes.
And I saw this meme, and it was like Christopher Nolan not liking to use CGI, so instead of using CGI for the monsters, he goes and like tries to summon them from the depths of the ocean. It was so funny because since he didn't use CGI on the atomic bomb in Oppenheimer.
Right. He filmed it a real explosion. That's a
wait.
That's a thing.
Was it an atomic bomb?
What do you?
What
mean?
did he drop? Like, what did he create? Like, how did he make that?
I've heard that he used a real atomic bomb.
Interesting.
But I mean, that can be solved with a quick Google search. Did Christopher Nolan use a real nuke? No. Christopher Nolan did not use a real nuclear weapon to film the
He
Trinity
did like a
test scene
mini
of
version of it without the nuclear part, right?
Okay, so I get where it's coming from. So they said he was going to do the nuke scene, but only if he could use practical effects. And then people are like, what does that even mean?
A real nuke.
You're going to use a real nuke? Yeah, no. Okay, but it means that the explosions and everything we're using like real explosives.
Yeah.
It's not CGI.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is crazy because if you've seen that movie, it's wild.
Yeah. Good movie. Check it out. So, okay. We were kind of talking more about... So, you and I are very interesting where we have...
Oh, well.
Not just...
Pat yourself in the back. We're very interesting.
We don't just... Besides childhood films, it's not even just kids' movies. It's like films from our childhood that were like a big part of us. Like, I remember one time I made a comment on Facebook, like... I was talking about Fern Gully, which is a really good movie. Check it out. And I made a comment, oh my God, it's this movie from my childhood.
Robin Williams is in that movie.
Mm-hmm. And someone was like, the movie came out like when you weren't even born. I'm like, okay, I watched it when I was a kid. Like, what's it to you? Like, back out. Like, I love Fern Gully. Like, is that a problem? I wasn't alive when it came out. I was really annoyed with that comment. But yeah. What are some movies that shaped you that you watched besides like the first one memories that because you were asking me at the beginning, like, oh, it's the first movie you remember? What are some movies that shaped you or that you like can like recall back to your childhood that made you feel something?
Man, there's a lot. I mean, I think the obvious first one. First of all, I never saw Bambi. So I didn't get the traumatic like
I did
Bambi scene,
and I saw Fox and the Hound too.
I didn't see that either.
Oh,
I have no idea what.
There's also a movie called Fox and the Hound 2, but I'm talking about Fox and the Hound, the first
as
one.
well.
Yes, not 2.
Yeah, no, but I did see The Lion King. So.
And who was obsessed with their dad?
Look, I love my parents equally. I don't know what you're talking about, okay? But I do constantly worry about my dad's health. And that could be, because of the pneumonia he had, or it could be because I was traumatized as a child with The Lion King. We'll never know. We will never know.
Yeah.
But I did I remember watching Bug's Life. I keep bringing that up. And Flick was like an inventor. He was always trying to solve everyone's problems by thinking outside the box. Now I'm an engineer. Like his whole thing was building a machine. That's the thing that caused the grasshoppers to like lose all their food in the first place. And that's why he had to like go run to New Bug City or whatever New York's like Bug Life thing it was.
Yeah.
But I think it was like that, Monsters Inc. And I'm blanking. Oh, Meet the Robinsons. Keep moving forward.
That one came out. I think we were like a little bit older. Let me see. But it was still when we were kids.
Yeah.
Let's see. Meet.
What age range are you targeting here? Are we talking
2007? So we were in middle school when it came out.
Yes.
Which I would still consider like even high school, but like elementary, middle school came out in 2007.
Yeah, and that's a movie. It's about like family.
Yeah.
So I really love that movie.
Yeah.
It's about the movie's about like family, about like failure and like keep moving forward. And like he's an engineer. Like it checked every box.
Yeah.
Like all it needed to be is like a Mexican kid, and like it would have gotten every single one.
So for me, I think I liked the movies that were about like escaping and like becoming your own person.
So like Blue's Clues.
Oh my god. No, because I know what you're referencing on that.
What?
The conspiracy theory we saw about Blue's Clues.
Oh, I was not referencing that. It's just because
you know, like escaping because about the jail.
He would jump into the the painting.
I'm not even gonna talk about I'm gonna talk about movies, but I think something also that I watched a lot as a kid that really helped shape me because it made me think a little bit more was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I remember watching that a lot as a kid, and I always like loved it was like a fascinating thing, like the things he would show. And I'm a very like curious person, as you know. I ask a lot of questions, and like I just try to like I feel like I overthink sometimes, but I also think it's because of shows like that where they were like teaching us things and like showing us how things worked. It wasn't just like here's a story and that's it, like black and white. It was kind of like a gray area. That's one that kind of came to mind for me. I really liked the show, and I'm gonna talk about like a lot of shows because, as you know, I enjoy shows a little bit more than I do movies, and that also came from when I was a kid too. But some of these also had movies, like the Rugrats movie.
Oh, I liked
it, especially the one when he had his brother, his younger brother.
Well, that's the whole Rugrats movie.
But yeah,
he's like,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was two though. There was Rugrats Take Paris, and then the Rugrats movie.
Yeah.
And I think people
wait, which one was first? There's no way Paris was first.
No,
the
Rugrats movie, the one where he had his little brother.
Yeah. And like the premise of the movie is the brother is born.
Yeah, and I remember I was not always like the best sister. I was because I wasn't that much older than my brother. Like you had a very like a much wider age difference from your sisters.
And I was a great brother. Yeah.
And it was like. We can ask them that. We can bring him on as guest and ask him, was your brother a good brother?
I dare them. Okay.
Anyways, I did not always appreciate having a sibling. That's what I'll say. And so watching that movie was a lot, for me. And even like the show was like this cute little thing of like, oh, the kids, like that movie. The scene where like he goes and has to like help save him when they like, when they go off into like the forest and like he has to help his little brother. And he's like, I'll be there for you. Like, I was like, oh, you have to be a good sister.
Walking around with the diaper on his head.
Yeah, with the diaper on his head and stuff. So I remember that one.
The monkeys. Dude,
like some of these movies.
Okay, completely irrelevant. You remember The Reporter?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when I was a kid and I saw that movie, I kept thinking that reporter's head looks like a loaf of bread.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
The way animation was weird. Animation can be weird. That animation was pretty strange. Another one that had a similar theme, I think, was I don't remember if it was the Wild Thornberrys movie or show, but kind of like her being like a sibling, like having to trust her older sister and then like their adoptive brother.
Okay.
I think like for me, the ones with like siblings always got like were a little more close to home because it's just me and my brother. So like you always feel like this protective instinct, but then you're also like it's kind of as an older sibling, you probably know like the whole like the battle you have of like I have to take care of them, but then I have like things I need to do.
Yeah.
So those are
totally get that.
Some of my examples. But then like for fun, I think some movies that also helped like I really, really liked were probably Shrek, I would say. I think did you mention Shrek already?
Oh yeah.
Like Shrek to me was that movie was just so good.
I feel so bad for people who don't speak Spanish. No. I feel bad for people who aren't bilingual. Because you could see that movie in English and it's great. You can see that movie in Spanish and it's better. But like if you're bilingual, you get to enjoy them in both languages. And they're both great. Eddie Murphy or Eugenio Derbez. Like, it's awesome.
Good thing we have them in both languages so we can show Aurelia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, another movie that I really liked because I've always obviously resonated more with someone. It's been like an older sister and a younger brother. Even though like I gave the Rugrats example and it was two brothers. Spy Kids.
Oh,
and how like Carmen always gave Junie a really hard time. Like that's the way I was. Like I was always giving my brother a really hard time. And so like that movie also was like I think we would like watch it on like repeat. That was one of the movies I could watch on repeat.
I remember
as a kid
not seeing Spy Kids 1 or 2. I just saw Spy Kids 3.
Oh, okay.
3D.
Of course
I
you
saw
did.
Spy Kids 2 at like my cousin's house. And I was like, this movie's great. And then Spy Kids 3D came out, and I'm like, hey, can we get that one?
So you never saw the original one?
No, I've never. I don't think
You've
I've seen
never
the first one.
seen the original Spy Kids? Are you okay? We got to end this soon so we can go watch it because like I didn't know I married someone who had never seen the original Spy Kids.
I saw 2, which is like with the thumbs, right? The thumb people.
That's the first one at the island.
Okay, then the second was the one that I didn't see.
You haven't seen that's the island. It's the island one.
Maybe I have
with
seen
the
it.
inventor.
Yeah, with the
I was gonna say like
the one who's like, do you think that God doesn't come down from heaven because he too is afraid of what he created?
Yeah.
Like he made like big dinosaurs but little.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have seen it.
So I guess in my brain it just
Good.
like melded together.
Okay. I was gonna say, man.
I remember they had the rebreathers when they were underwater. The dehydrated pizza.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then they went to the safe house.
And then that's
Their
where Emily
parents-
Osmond.
the first one where their parents were missing.
Is it Emily Osmond?
Yeah, was in the second one.
Yeah, the best friend of Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then Machete was there randomly.
He's their uncle. No,
Yeah.
he's the brother. He's like the actual uncle, not the fake uncle like from the first one. This is all spoilers, but all these movies are probably like 20, 30 years old. So
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about these. These aren't new movies.
What I do remember is I think that was my first 3D movie.
Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah, and I remember going to the theater to watch it, and we got to keep our glasses. Mm-hmm. And like the movie is like glasses on, glasses on.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's a really
That
good
might
3D
have been
movie.
my first 3D movie. Also, I remember one maybe about dinosaurs. You know what movie really messed me up?
Jurassic Park.
No. Well, yes, the movie was scary, and I didn't like scary movies as a kid. So 2 movies, and they were
Signs.
both about dinosaurs. Can you guess? 2 movies that messed me up.
As a kid,
As
that
a
was
kid.
about dinosaurs,
2
and
movies.
it's not Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Okay, I hope you've seen them because if not, I know what we're gonna watch.
Do
this weekend.
sharks count as
No.
Jaws?
No. You've never seen The Land Before Time?
That
That movie was so sad. I haven't
Wait till
seen
you
it.
hear what happened to the little like what is it, Dot or Spot?
The girl who voice acted one of the
Littlefoot
characters.
Is her name Littlefoot? Something like that.
Not Littlefoot. It was like the littler one. She was murdered in real life by her father
As a child.
It's a true crime case, Sergio. Of course I know about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for thinking I didn't, but yes, I know about
It
it.
just adds to the trauma.
It does add to the trauma. Yeah, it was really a really sad case.
And then the movie Dinosaurs.
Then the movie Dinosaurs. I thought it was really sad because like when I was a kid, I was really fascinated with dinosaurs, and then to see like what happened to them and like the struggles because like you know when you're a kid you hear the voices and you're like, oh my god, these are people too. And so like them having to make the struggle and like seeing like the meteors like coming at them, it just made me really sad. Those 2, but Land Before Time was worse.
I remember I had that movie on VHS. Mm-hmm. I lent it to my cousin, and I never saw it again. It was really sad.
I don't lend movies or books out to people.
But I don't feel that bad because then we we traded
okay.
Haunted Mansion for Harry Potter,
Oh, okay.
and then let's just say I lost it, and then I never asked for Haunted Mansion back.
Wow.
So I mean, technically, you know.
Wow. Did you like I'm trying to think because you mentioned like Haunted Mansion. So we're talking a little bit about animated movies, but like live action movies. Did you like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
I don't recall.
It's about an inventor.
Well, yeah, it's Robin Williams, isn't it?
No.
No, that's Flubber.
Yeah. It traumatized me because there were roaches. So that's why I didn't watch it again after I watched it the first time.
Because there were roaches?
Yeah, there was roaches.
Don't watch Enchanted.
Yeah, I've seen it. I like Enchanted, but yeah.
You've never seen those live action roaches cleaning the dishes?
I have, and those don't bother me as much. They use like real roaches, you could tell. Anyways, we're gonna stop talking about roaches. Have you seen the movie My Girl?
My Girl?
My Girl.
What are you talking about?
That movie was so
What are these
sad.
Disney Channel movie originals that you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't even know.
My Girl?
My Girl from 19. Let me see.
Okay, that's obscure.
1990.
I recognize none of the. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis.
It's
isn't it?
so sad. I'm not gonna spoil it for you in case you ever want to watch it. If you don't know what happens, then like
Macaulay Culkin.
I think you should watch it if you've never seen it.
Why?
Because it's so sad.
Why would you want me to watch something sad? You want to see boys in the striped pajamas?
I have seen that movie. It's really sad. Because I think there's certain lessons and things I'd rather you see in a movie than go through in real life.
Okay, as an adult then.
Bridget Therapithia.
Oh, dude, that messed me up.
I just remembered that because I know you really like that book and that movie.
No, that movie messed me up for two reasons. Because number one, we had to read the book in class, right? So it was sad.
I was out sick when we had to read it, so I only never saw the movie in school.
And then I remember, I think I was either absent too many times or I got a demerit. I got in trouble in school for some reason.
Shame.
And I didn't qualify to go to the movie field trip to go see the movie.
Oh.
So I read the book and I wasn't allowed to go see the movie.
Oh, did you end up seeing it eventually?
Well, yeah, eventually. But and then got hit again by the movie.
That's so sad.
So that movie is just filled with like sadness.
So like personal and like the movie itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
When was that? I think that was 6th grade. We were in 6th grade.
About a while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
But what other like movies as an adult? Like, well, or not even that. Like maybe it could have been movies that you saw like as a kid growing up, but they were more like adult catered movies. Like for example, The Matrix.
Oh, I forgot that you watched like adult movies as a kid, and you're like, movie from my childhood.
Yeah, The Matrix.
I didn't watch it till I was an adult, so I was living with you.
Yeah, I had to show you The Matrix.
We were like almost.
What are you talking
We
about?
were like almost married. I think when I finally saw it.
You realize that The Matrix shifted the cinematic landscape, right? I can't with it. In cinema history, it's literally like movies before The Matrix and movies after The Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that there were movies? I think the movie Tron.
I've seen that movie.
I have not. I think actually no. I think I saw it in school once, but I've never. Like,
I haven't
sat
seen
down
the
to
new
see it.
ones.
I saw the new one. The new one was great.
Oh.
I haven't seen the one that's
There's going to be
out
another
later.
new one.
Yeah, but anyway, the movie Tron was disqualified for best like visual effects because it used computers, and they saw that as cheating.
Ugh.
What does that remind you of?
That reminds me of AI.
That's right. Ding, 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 ding.
Refer to episode, what was it, 14?
13?
15?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
You know what? If you don't know what we're talking about, start from episode 1 and keep working your way up until you hit the AI one.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So Tron was one of those movies that was like a paradigm shift because it introduced computers, just like Toy Story, to make the film. And it was considered cheating and therefore could not get an award. I think they retroactively gave it like an honorary award.
Wow.
But at the time when it came out, it was considered cheating. But yeah, what movies like those? Like I remember watching Fun with Dick and Jane. And that movie's great.
Okay,
With Jim Carrey.
I have to think.
Bruce Almighty.
I liked Evan Almighty a little bit better.
What are you talking about? You're making all the wrong statements right now.
But I think it's because I like Steve Carell as an actor.
Okay.
So I think that's why.
I'm not saying Evan Almighty is bad. It's really good. It's an Blank Almighty movie, and I think those girls was great. But Bruce Almighty is the OG. It's a great movie.
Hold on, action movies.
It's super memeable.
It is. That's a lot of movies from earlier, from like the 90s and early 2000s, like a bunch of memes. I'm asking ChatGPT so I could well, My Girl's not a kids movie. It's like it's really depressing, so it's not a kids movie. No. I guess.
Okay.
Let me see. Same time period.
We need to look at the box office hits.
Yeah, because I have bad memory. Remember?
Jumanji. What are we talking
about? Oh my god,
about?
I loved Jumanji, but it was like sad, but I was happy with the ending, so like I didn't not watch it.
I remember the
all like the dog movies, 101 Dalmatians, Dr. Dolittle, Beethoven, those. I liked The Sandlot. Oh, what about oh my God, there's one that my dad showed me.
I literally just said The Sandlot.
I know, that's I know. My dad showed me one. The Goonies. The Goonies? You've never seen The Goonies.
Hey, you guys.
I think that's from The Goonies. But like
I don't know.
Add it to your shame list because you got a shame list now too. Star Wars is on.
Mine
there.
is much shorter than yours.
It is, but it's still there.
And yours are like genre-defining movies that you haven't seen.
Hey, you haven't seen Star Wars, okay? You can't say anything.
You haven't seen Jaws.
I've seen Jaws.
You haven't seen The Godfather.
Okay, I haven't seen The Godfather. Oh, I have a little camera over here watching our baby sleep. Oh no, she's back asleep. Okay. What about? Oh my God, Hook, Casper. I loved Casper.
This has turned into the naming movies podcast.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. You're asking me which movies I remember from my childhood. So I'm trying to remember because I have bad memory. I knew the animated ones, but the live action ones I don't really remember. Okay.
I remember like when I was growing up, movies. My mom went to school for photography in Mexico. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that, it was also cinematic. Oh, actually, I get to tell this story. Okay.
But
so,
I mean.
So my mom was taking a cinema appreciation class.
I've heard the story, but continue.
And while she was in cinema appreciation, she had to write a screenplay, right? About anything. But she just had to turn it in as an assignment. Mm-hmm. And then she came home and she's telling me, Dad, I don't know what I'm going to do. Can't think of this. I can't think of that. I just don't know what I'm going to do. And my dad had just bought this contraption from the market, that it just happened to be called a PlayStation. And that PlayStation came with a variety of games. Mm-hmm. One of them being Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
Oh, gosh.
Right?
How old are you again? 4?
Yeah, around there, 4. 3 around there, yeah. So, anyway, so they were playing Resident Evil at the time. And my dad says, look at this game. Like, again, the PlayStation was a paradigm shifting thing. The Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation get 3D graphics. So all the games go from being like beep, boop, games to like story-driven narrative games.
Yeah.
So he's like, look at this game. Just make that. Just like put that in as the assignment. And my mom did a screenplay and turned in. And then they go, yeah, what are the odds they turned this dumb video game into a movie? Fast forward, God, like 20 years. And there's like 9 Resident Evil movies.
Yeah. And that's funny. So your mom cheated is basically what you're saying.
Listen, she drew inspiration from source material.
Your mom. Okay? I'm so sorry.
You leave my mother out of this.
Shout out Legend of Korra. Okay. I'm gonna say one more movie, and then we'll go on to like some other topics I kind of want to discuss. So one movie, I want to see if you've seen it. James and the Giant Peach.
Yes.
You've seen it. Okay, good.
Yes. I never read the book. I saw the movie.
Me neither. No, I agree. Okay. So besides the movies we've seen, movies we liked, what lessons did some of these movies teach us?
In Time. The movie In Time.
I saw
Justin Timberlake.
As an adult, yeah.
Yeah.
The movie came out like.
That movie was okay. There were
2011, so that was okay. A little not. This is out of our range. We're talking.
There were 2 movies that fundamentally shifted the way I think. One of them was In Time. They have a quote in there that says, "For a few people to be immortal, many must die." Right? Which the whole commentary of the movie is around economy, right? Mm-hmm. Except instead of dollars, it revolves around time, mm-hmm. right? So you get to live for however much time you have. But the economics are the same. You can see how if somebody who wasn't supposed to come into money came into money, they would just raise the prices on everything, and now everything got way more expensive, and now people had to pay more money just to be able to afford living. But the people at the top who had a bunch of money, that raise didn't affect them at all, right? It's the people at the bottom who are paying for the people at the top. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I learned about it, how the system is rigged against you, and you have to be working you can't be working at a pace. You have to be trying to outpace everybody to get ahead.
Is that where you get it from?
Yes. Second is Mr. Nobody.
You showed me that movie.
Yes. So that movie is about a boy whose like parents are getting divorced, right? And the mom and the dad are about to split, and they're asking him like, "Who do you want to go with? Do you want to go with your mom or do you want to go with your dad?" And like he has to make a split-second decision as a boy. Like it's a crappy decision and crappy position to be in. But the whole movie revolves around the different points of view of what would happen if he would have gone with his mom, what would happen if he would have gone with his dad. And it really like, I don't want to say like it changed my life, but like it opened my eyes to how
Opened your mind.
simple decisions can have impacts that
Like the butterfly effect?
Yeah, that lasts your whole life. So you have to be very careful about everything that you do, because if you do the wrong thing, it'll put you on a separate timeline, basically.
Yeah. The severed, no. What's it called from Loki? The
sacred timeline.
Sacred timeline, yeah. And they have like a bunch of branches. You know, this question is really hard for me because, as you know, how many books do I have?
493.
No, I have more than that.
502.
I have like 516. Damn. When you update it, my numbers update every month. You know this.
What qualifies as a library?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000?
1,000 books.
You're halfway there.
I'm a little bit more than halfway there, but I don't have the space right now. So one day I will. But anyways, I'm more of a reader than I am a movie person. So, and I think anyone who's met me that kind of knows me and has a little bit of a relationship with me knows that I can talk about books a lot, as a lot of people know. So it's hard for me to say lessons from movies, but
what
I'm
about
going to try.
Twilight?
Oh my God. Why are you outing me?
Because that's a bull.
Why are you outing me?
Oh, fine. The Hunger
Why
Games.
are you yucking my yum?
We listen and we don't judge.
The Hunger Games was so sad. The book was so good.
The movies?
No, I mean, okay, the movies, yeah. But I don't want to say just because, like, the book is always better. Quote me on that. Quote me on it.
You know why it's better?
Hill I die on.
You know why every book you read is always going to be better? Not just that. You're tailor making it in your imagination to what you want it to be.
That's why I'm excited whenever the next, I'm going to cry, the next Fourth Wing book comes out. I did not know it was going to take like 2 years for the next one to come out. I'm very sad about that.
What's Fourth Wing?
The ones I just finished. The series I just finished reading that I told you that I was sad about how it's not going to come out for 2 years.
The dragon rider that reads like Twilight?
I guess that's how you know it. Yes.
Yes.
I want to do the dramatized.
Every
reading.
time you turned on that audiobook, it was the same. As she grasped something. They were always grasping something in that book. She
rides a dragon. Spoilers. I'm sorry. I mean, but not a spoiler because it's about a book about.
It's dragons. A book about dragon riders. Like, come on.
I don't want to get because we should maybe do a whole. I don't know how.
By the way, guys, in the movie Harry Potter, there's a guy named Harry Potter. Oh my God.
I don't want to get into books because I would love to do an episode on books one day. Even though you are not a big book person, I would love to do an episode about books.
Listen, all that time you spent reading, I spent watching multiple movies. Okay. So
So I'm going to say, I think like movies that helped us taught us a lesson. I loved the movie Mulan.
Okay.
And I liked how she sacrificed for her family and still was able to kind of like come back and be her own person after that. So like you can maybe like self-sacrifice a little bit, but then like you can always come back and like do what you wanted to do. I know that makes sense.
I get it.
I think that movie, because like I guess like I can answer more of the question what movies resonated with me better. And like Mulan did not feel like a good daughter. That song Reflection, listen to it in English and Spanish. It's a good song in both languages. It talks about like, I want to be a better, why am I not like the daughter they want me to be? I think like that just you just feel it in you sometimes. I think at any child, you can feel like, okay, am I living up to expectations? Am I doing what I should be doing? And I think that one, I felt it. And then another movie that I loved any of like the ethnic Disney princesses were probably more my favorite. More like Mulan, Pocahontas. What was the other one I told you about that I loved?
I forget her name. The one from Louisiana?
No, that's Alondra's favorite. But anyways, I think for Pocahontas, she stood up to her family when like they were doing something bad. When they were going to kill John Smith. Again, not a spoiler because the movie's been out for 30 years. 30 years. The movie's been out.
Yes,
You've never seen it?
No. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes,
He's never seen
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. Well, it's a good thing we have a daughter because we're going to watch all these movies anyways with her.
What if I could tell you I can sing the song? You're like, have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue?
No, we're going to watch it with her.
I remember in elementary.
That's going to be our movie
song.
night. That's going to be one of our movie night movies. When we have movie nights with just us three, it's going to be all the princess movies and you're going to watch them.
Oh, yay.
So, yeah, like how she stood up against her family when like she knew it wasn't right.
Okay.
Always standing up
But
for the
so
right.
did the Little Mermaid.
What do you mean?
Because she stood up against her dad, and she
No,
wanted
but
to
that
go
was a dumb reason.
with like against the humans, and
As
the
a
humans did
parent,
anything wrong.
as a parent,
Watching the Little Mermaid as an adult, it's like
as a parent
girl.
especially, is insufferable. But Pocahontas, okay, there was like a love story, right? But she also was standing up for like he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything bad. Coco attacked them. You know what I mean? Like he was self-defending himself.
Han Solo shot first.
God. Yeah, we're gonna have to watch all these movies that we mentioned here. Tarzan?
Yes, Tarzan.
I mean,
of course.
Tarzan was iconic. We sing that song to Aurelia all the time.
Yes, we do.
He like stood up against his dad, you know?
The dad who never accepted him.
Yeah. But then like he ended up going back and helping them save them.
Yes.
He still like went back for what was right. So yeah, all these movies, I mean, Finding Nemo, how like his dad went to go search for his son
Yes.
when it was just them two. That was so sad.
His dad was overcoming his fears for his son because he was like traumatized of the ocean.
Who does that remind you?
Listen, I identify a little bit more with Dory. Constantly forgetting everything.
That's me. I'm both of them because like fun fact, your girl is afraid of fireworks. And while I was pregnant, I actually popped my first firework.
That's right.
I held it in my hand and I let it go off.
It was a Roman candle and it was great.
I did it with my 3-year-old godson, who also was popping fireworks for the first time. So yeah.
There's no shame in facing your fears.
And I was pregnant. I was doing it because, you know, like I don't want Aurelia to have the same fears that I have.
No, the fireworks she's gonna pop are gonna be super cool.
So I was not even to like be the one to pop fireworks, but I want to be there with her when she gets to experience that because I know you love fireworks.
I love fireworks.
So I don't want to.
And I have to avoid them because of someone I know.
I didn't want to keep her from something that you love because of my fear. Just like how you're not going to keep her from doing things with me.
That's right.
Even if you're not a fan of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But okay, to wrap this up, when we rewatch these movies that have like, you know, shaped us, helped define us, like how do we feel as adults? Like you were talking about how The Little Mermaid, you see it differently now, you know, because especially as a parent, it's like, okay, girl, shut up and listen to your dad. He's trying to protect you. Like, what are you talking about? But as a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, she just wants to be with her love.
Even the song, like I never understood the song. I would just like sing it because like that's what you do with Disney songs. You sing along, and it's like they don't reprimand their daughters. You okay there?
Sorry, I went down the wrong pipe. Anyways, yeah. So I think that one I appreciate differently because like I think when you're a kid you obviously see it from like I'm still trying to get over the water I was choking on. Sorry. Anyways, so that's a good example, Little Mermaid. And then like Tarzan, now I see it from the perspective of like the mom, you know, instead of like Tarzan being like the kid. Mm-hmm. Like you see the movies differently from the parents' perspectives. Like I actually have a problem with how in most Disney princess movies the mom's dead, because I know that like the daughters probably wouldn't have stood up for like wouldn't stand for the mistreatment that they got or they normally get if the mom was around, because sometimes the dads don't know how to deal with girls, and so like there was no one to help her work through whatever issue she was going through.
You're specifically talking about Belle, aren't you?
I'm talking about Belle. I'm talking about Cinderella. I'm talking about Pocahontas. I mean, I'm talking about Little Mermaid. Like, there's no mom in any of those movies.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What?
Justice for the moms.
Snow White too. No, I mean it's weird, yeah, because like once you become a parent and you start watching all these movies from like a parent point of view, and you realize you're someone's backstory.
Yeah. Gosh.
Like you're someone's origin story.
Oh my gosh. I want to give an example too of something, because I want to talk about here like sharing these things with the younger generation. So like obviously Aurelia is still super tiny. We haven't shown her movies yet, but we got to show Coco to our godson, and Coco is a really hard movie for me to watch because I was really, really close to my grandma. Like she was like one of my favorite people like my whole entire life. Like my relationship with her like helped define me as a person. And she passed away, about 2 years ago now. And I remember it was already hard to watch before because the movie came out before she passed away. And I remember the first time I watched it, we were with my little cousins. And I remember like they were just like la la la, like whatever. And I remember like I was like trying not to sob. I was like, oh my God, like I didn't know that the movie was gonna affect me that much. And being like, oh my God, like it was so hard for me to watch. And then I remember telling my best friend, being like, hey, I really want to be the one to show him this movie. Can you just like not show him this movie and then like let me be the one to show him? And one time we went to go babysit and we showed it to him, and I think you and I were both crying at the end a little bit.
Because I remember the first time that we didn't watch it because like we would watch it all the time because it's the best
Mexican Disney
movie that they came out with for Disney, and then your grandma had passed away, so then we stopped watching it, and then my tia Bertita passed away, who she was like a grandma to me too.
Yeah, she passed away first, and then my grandma passed away. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we stopped watching it after like
we didn't watch it for years.
Yeah.
After like we would rewatch it, quite often.
And then we see it again, and now like I have my tia, you have your grandma, like all the emotions just came out.
But like I remember like my godson, he was almost 3, I think, when we showed it to him, and he was getting a little bit antsy. But I remember him by the end he like sat and was watching it, and like seeing him like kind of get the concept, maybe not all the way because obviously he's still really little. It feels like nice to be like, I'm seeing this through their eyes, like seeing how he doesn't really get it. And so it's like the innocence of being a child, of like not knowing, just like we didn't know when we were kids, maybe not Coco because we were older when Coco came out, but the innocence of it, like I am looking forward to showing Aurelia Lion King and being able to like help her like navigate those emotions that she'll probably have.
I'm looking forward to the trauma I'm going to be able to help my daughter surpass. And
like being able to show her like the princess movies, like to say like, okay, like these are nice, cute movies, but these are the movies. And like, we also have to know the reality of it, because you see movies when you're a kid and you're like, this is how it's going to be. No, it's not. And so I'm looking forward to that, of being able to share in those magical moments that the movies created for us as kids, and like how they mean so much to us as adults. Because I look at those movies now and they're a defining part of your childhood. Those movies, who you watched them with, or what they meant to you when you were little. And I'm really looking forward to passing that on to her.
All right, everybody. Well, with that makes episode 16
yes.
of the Partner Up Podcast. Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.